Bears' new offensive coordinator, Thomas Brown, impressed in his first game calling offensive plays for the Chicago Bears with nearly 400 yards of offense, Caleb's cleanest game, and he kept it close against the Green Bay Packers. But what's impressive the most about him so far is that he is not shying away from his frustration with this team and also accountability for this team. Brown called out in his press conference on Thursday that he is frustrated and that there needs to be some changes, and there was no celebration even after a strong performance this past Sunday. Richard Hightower, our special teams coach, also had some comments about accountability and what needs to happen. And these two are acting more like head coaches than our current one and Matt Eberflus. I'm going to break down some of the discussion that happened at Halas Hall, along with the positive injury news from today. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Now, before I begin today's show, hit that like button if you love what you're seeing out of Thomas Brown, especially his energy as a coach, along with commenting your thoughts on Thomas Brown so far since taking on the responsibility of offensive coordinator, even after just one game. And are you a Bears fan? Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all Chicago Bears news and notifications. So let's start with Thomas Brown himself. He expects more out of this team, and he did not shy away from that during his press conference on Thursday, November 21st. He is bringing the juice. He was asked about if he was happy with the Bears' offensive performance against the Green Bay Packers, and he said, quote, "There are no attaboys. We came up short and lost the game," unquote. Accountability, followed by that talking about how he could have been a better game caller. There is no soft mentality here with Thomas Brown. This guy wants to win ball games, and that's the energy that I love to see out of him. And here he also was more talking like a head coach than Matt Eberflus, along with giving Flus no credit. He literally was just saying how we lost and he needs to be better. Shots fired in my personal eyes if you're not even talking about the game plan that Matt Eberflus put together. All he talked about was how he can't wait for this upcoming Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings and what the Bears can do. And him and Caleb's connection, along with the rest of the offense, clearly worked. I mean, look at the box score in Thomas Brown's first game as offensive coordinator, totaling 391 total yards of offense, would have been over 400 without a few sacks, 212 total passing yards. Caleb had 231, but the sacks took away 19 yards. Rushing yards, 179, total of 19 points. Obviously, he was frustrated with that. 23 first downs, a season high, along with the best third down conversion of the season, 9 of 16, 3 for 3 on fourth down conversion, and owned the time of possession against the Green Bay Packers with 36 minutes and 21 seconds. I loved what Thomas Brown brought to the table here, guys. I mean, he did a great job with just overall play calling, the energy. You guys saw him slam the headset down, and he got excited. But at the end of the day, we lost the game. Brown goes to that podium and says, "We lost. We're not celebrating. We got to win." That's the energy that this team needs, and that's what players are going to get behind. Also, Caleb Williams calling out how happy he is with so far what he's seen with Brown. I mean, he went 74% completion, 231 passing yards, 70 rushing yards, so over 300 yards of offense, 0 interceptions, 3 sacks, 1 being his fault that Caleb called out. But overall, just you can hear that players are excited about this. Players are behind Thomas Brown, and honestly, I haven't heard any of them really talk about Matt Eberflus. So that should show you something in a shift in energy. Also want to call out too about Richard Hightower, he went up to the podium, talked about the penalty that should have been called on the Bears for the field goal. He said, "Listen, I should have put us in a better position. I should have gotten things done better for this team, and we lost, and I take accountability for that." I love that these coaches are taking accountability, and you can hear in their voice that they're saying, "We need to win. We need to win. It's on us. It's on us. It's on us." And they're saying it with a tone. So they're definitely taking some shots at their boss, Matt Eberflus, telling them, "Hey, you got to own up for your mistakes, buddy." And I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this team. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of the coaches. I think that he takes credit. Both of them are taking good credit, and no one has talked about Matt Eberflus in their presser. Just want to, again, put that out there. Want to give credit where credit is due, because Thomas Brown obviously is a big factor for this Bears team. He was hired under Shane Waldron as a top offensive assistant this past offseason, but Brown's been in the league for quite some time. He's been in it since 2020. He was the assistant head coach for the LA Rams in their 2021 Super Bowl win. He was the running backs coach since 2020, and he was their still assistant tight end and running backs room coach in 2022. During that time in 2020, the Rams had the number 3 rushing offense with over 2,000 yards, a 4.3 yard per carry, 19 rushing touchdowns, and 123 first downs on the ground. During their Super Bowl champ season, they obviously brought in Matthew Stafford, so their passing attack got better, but only 300 yards less than what they had in 2020. A 4.0 yard per carry average, 10 rushing touchdowns, and 99 first downs on the ground. And the consistency stayed there. Just same amount of yards, almost same yard per carry, 15 rushing touchdowns, and 89 first downs in 2022. Just this guy absolutely is an offensive-minded guy. This is exactly what Caleb Williams needed. This is what's going to help the team get to new levels. And you can see that he's doing that. He's allowing Caleb to run the ball a lot more. He's allowing this team to be spread out. Being a tight ends coach, his final season in LA taught him a little bit more about the offense, and he comes from Sean McVay's coaching line, which is obviously big. And that's why he landed the offensive coordinator job in Carolina, which Sean McVay was very upset that he was leaving. Happy for him, obviously. And Brown was even considered as a head coaching position before he took on the offensive coordinator position in Carolina. So this guy has a lot of potential. And you've even seen him on potential head coaches for next year after one impressive game. I'm not saying Brown is the real deal yet, but something to consider maybe for next year if he keeps this up, and especially if Caleb Williams likes him. This guy has a great resume. He definitely should have been our offensive coordinator all year, because I guarantee you Bears would have at least 2 more wins. At least 2 more wins. So happy with what he's brought to the table. And before I get into today's injury report, I would like to thank today's sponsor, OddsJam. OddsJam just isn't another betting app. It's turning the entire system in your favor. Here's how it works. They use a strategy called arbitrage, finding odds across over 270 different sports books. You bet on both sides. No matter the outcome, you're a winner. Here's an example. If you put 500 on the Bears on FanDuel.com, you put 335 Packers on their opponent, the Minnesota Vikings, on DraftKings, you're guaranteed $50 win or lose, no matter what team you're actually using for. It's that simple. They have a mobile app that gives you real-time alerts. And right now, if you go to the link in the description now and download it today, use code JAYCHI to get a 7-day free trial along with 35% off your annual or monthly subscription. Don't leave money on the table. Go to OddsJam today. So let's get into a positive injury news for the Chicago Bears today. A short list, but a nice one, especially with some good news. Tevin Jenkins was full today with that ankle injury, so the Bears will be getting a top offensive lineman back. DeAndre Swift with that groin injury, who didn't practice on Wednesday, was limited on Thursday, so that's good news. Mercedes Lewis just doesn't practice at all. But Elijah Hicks, Ryan Bates, and Karana Magaji still did not practice. Really concerned about Ryan Bates, as the concussion injuries have killed the Bears so far this year. So I'm hoping Ryan Bates is okay, and please send some positive thoughts. But good news from DeAndre Swift and Tevin Jenkins' standpoint. And also it explains why we brought in Adrian Colbert for Elijah Hicks. And hopefully Karana Magaji gets well soon. But bear down, baby. I love the energy that this team is bringing. They're not afraid to go against their coach, because the players are going to play for their individual coaches. They don't just have to play for Matt Eberflus. So we'll find out more exactly what is going on in the Bears locker room as time goes on. And I'm feeling good about this upcoming Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. Stay tuned for more Chicago Bears news and notifications. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Please like this video and comment your thoughts of Thomas Brown in the comment section below. But with that, thank you as always for tuning in this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, bear down, baby.